Hello everyone, welcome. This is Betty with Oak by Bettina. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Thank you for being here with me. This is the painting of a few days ago. It is dry. It came out beautiful. It has a beautiful shine on it without any resin or any top coating. But because I am trying very hard to get better at my blooms, I am going to redo this piece. Why? Because even though I tried to make sure that there was enough painting off, there wasn't. So if you look down here, there's a little breaking up of the paints. And that is because right there, I probably left a little bit too much paint. Whereas the rest is just beautiful. This is beautiful. And I'm really trying to get better with my blooms. And this is something that I need to work on. So I'm going to paint over this. I can hear some of you saying, no. But I want to show the good and the bad, and let's see what happens. I'm not sure what colors I'm going to put down. It's not about colors today. It's about trying to get off enough paint, whether it be a blowout bloom, a scoop and drag, with the hair dryer. At the end of the day, you have to have enough paint off of your canvas so things like this do not happen. And that is always taking into consideration that your paints are good, they're not spoiled, that your consistency is correct. You also need to layer your paints correctly. You should start with a tube paint and end with one. And then be careful with the transparency or how opaque your colors are. All of these things have to be taken into consideration with this technique. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this sandpaper. It's a 100 grit. And just sand this down just to take off any bumps on the canvas, any extra pieces of paint. And just to make it a little bit smoother, and also to help the base, the new base color, grab on easier to the canvas. So once I'm done sanding this down, I will take a little bit of water and a piece of cloth and just wipe it down, making sure that all the dust from the sanding is completely cleaned, and starting off with a pretty clean canvas. Here's my water bottle, and I'm just spraying it down and cleaning it. No, no chemicals required, just a little bit of water and a clean cloth, and just wiping it down, removing all the dust to start with a good canvas. Well, my mistake, I started off with the wrong base, so I had to quickly remove it. And started out with a bloom base, which is my color to go, in antique white. So as you can see, this is a 16-inch round. I make sure that my base is thicker than my paints, and my activator is thinner than the paints. So as a rule, for me, 4, 3, 2. I count to 4 for my base to disappear. I count 3 for my paints to disappear, and 2 for the thinness of my cell activator. As you can see here, I'm putting a little bit of the base down first. You really don't need that much, and that is my biggest mistake, to control the amount of base I put down. The second part part that I have to work on is remembering if I'm using a large canvas like this one, which is a 16 round, I do have to put down enough paint for it to spread without overspreading and making the cells wonky. So it's really just a learning process of how much paint to put down, how much to spread it out, and a lot of control when you're spreading your paint on the canvas. So as you can see, I started out with a pigment, and then it's a tube paint. The yellow is a tube paint. The next one is a pigment, and that last one is a tube paint. Why am I putting this yellow on the pink? Because you should have a tube paint before your cell activator. So I'm just putting a little bit of this yellow tube, which is Amsterdam Azo Yellow, I believe. So I'm adding it to the two pigment colors, which is the pink and the first blue. I know everybody doesn't do it this way, guys. This is the way that I'm teaching myself, and it's working so far. I still have a lot of learning to do, but here I am popping the bubbles. You want to pop them because if not, you're going to get these little white pimples, and some people like them, some don't. I'm okay with them, but if I can remove them, it's better. So now before I start with the activator, I'm going to add a little bit more of the base paint so that I have room to spread out the paint with the activator, cell activator. But I'm still controlling myself with the base. So I'm not putting down that much, but enough to be able to move the paint around with the cell activator. I believe the cell activator that I'll be using is Lamp Black by Amsterdam, and I am using Australian Floetrol. As for the cell activator, you need to use enough to move your paints and make those cells, but not to overload your palette knife, because if not, you're going to get blotches of black cell activators on your painting. So the way I check myself is by covering my palette knife, but when I move the palette knife, there is not paint coming off of it. So I know there's not excessive cell activator on the palette. Well, I hope this information is helpful to you if you like to do blooms. It certainly is a hard technique to learn, but I love this technique and I'm going to continue. And every time that I learn something, I will share it with you. As you can see here, once I spread the cell activator, the cells come up right away. And that shows me two things. First of all, I had enough cell activator, but not too much. And the cell activator was thin enough that it is sinking and creating the cells, which are the two important things for me to keep in mind when I am putting down the cell activator. So the next step is to add more base to the canvas so that I can spin this out, or maybe I'll do some scoop and drag. But I still have to make sure not to put too much base where I am going to have to spin it out so much that my cells get wonky. So that's another control factor that you have to take into consideration with these blooms. All right, guys, I hope that this has been helpful to you. I'm going to put up the music and let you enjoy the rest of this video. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments section. I'm more than happy to help. As always, be happy, be kind, be safe. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I will probably not be able to show you the dry results of this painting because it's such thick paints and so much paint. It takes several days to dry, but I certainly will show it to you in a future video. I'll talk to you then. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay guys, I'm sorry I had to jump back in. We're back to normal speed, but I wanted to show you the cells, the pink cells. If I would have continued spinning, they would have lost their shapes completely. Right now, they're not as round as I like them to be, but they're not bad. The blue ones there on the bottom are perfect for me. They're just beautiful and round, and they're perfect. But the pink ones were getting a little bit out of shape, so I had to stop spinning. Don't forget to clean the bottom of your canvas. Make sure that you take that excess paint off. If not, it's going to continue pulling all the paint that's on your canvas. Overall, I'm happy with this painting. Those cells right there are perfect for me. There are a few that lost their shape, but not too bad. I still have to make sure that there's enough paint off of this canvas so that it dries without cracking. So here I am checking to make sure that the painting is not moving, that there is enough paint off of this canvas and it will dry without cracking. And it looks like I did, but we'll just have to see how it dries. And I will show you this dry result in a future video. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.